After my husband was left paralyzed in the accident, his temper only got worse and more erratic. He not only forced me to quit my job and stay home to take care of him, but would also hit and insult me at the slightest irritation, while my mother-in-law stood by fanning the flames with sarcasm and taunts. Knowing they had been hit by such a sudden upheaval, I kept yielding to them time and again. I never expected that while I was at the shop checking the accounts, my husband's business partner would suddenly start spewing filthy language and putting his hands on me while running away. I accidentally fell down the stairs and died on the spot. It was only after I died that I learned my husband's paralysis had been fake. It had all been a scheme set up by him and my mother-in-law to test me. It all started because of a casual slander from my partner's ex-wife. When I opened my eyes again, I had gone back to just after I resigned. Since you don't want to stay home and take care of me, go check on the shop. Shirley is clumsy, might as well go help out. My husband, Lin Hui, woke me by hurling something at me from his wheelchair and said coldly. I walked out stiffly, and only when I reached the elevator did I crouch down, trembling, and hug myself. Thank goodness, I'm alive and healthy. Looking at my fully intact limbs, I was sure I had been reborn in my previous life. After I washed his body, I was so exhausted that I dozed off on the sofa. He woke me the same way, by smashing something and shouting those exact words. At first, I refused and wasn't comfortable leaving him alone at home. I never expected that the very next day, he would call his mother over, and the two of them would team up to lie to me. Ever since then, Shirley started acting weird. Not only did the way he looked at me change, but he also kept saying all kinds of bizarre things. I complained about it to Lin Hui when I got home, but he said Shirley was his close brother, and my mother-in-law also told me I was overthinking it. It wasn't until after I died that I heard Shirley calling his ex-wife, Qing Yun, saying, I really don't get you women. Lin Hui clearly said she was always fooling around behind his back. I just touched her a couple of times, and now she's putting on this act of being some pure, chaste woman, and now look, she's fallen to her death. What are we supposed to do now? Qing Yun, clearly taking pleasure in my misfortune, suggested. Even her own husband says she's no decent woman, so just say she seduced you. At worst, you'll have to pay some money. How was Xiaomin dealt with? Do the same thing here, or should I go and explain it to them for you? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could Lin Hui say something like that about me to Shirley? He must be lying. I struggled desperately to break free from the shackles of my body and drifted back home, only to see Lin Hui standing perfectly fine by the window. On the phone, a look of disgust on his face. That kind of loose woman got what she deserved for falling to her death. Before I could even recover from the shock of seeing that Lin Hui could stand, I heard my mother-in-law scoff in agreement. I always said she was a seductress. See, one little test, and her true colors came out. That girl Qing Yun is pretty good. First she warned you that Xinyu was restless, and then she helped you forge a fake medical record. We should give her some face, pay her, and sign the forgiveness agreement. Anyway, women like that deserve to die. In that instant, it felt like I'd fallen into an ice cave. I couldn't believe my husband and mother-in-law would do something like this just because of some baseless rumor from an outsider. They teamed up to fake a limp and test me. All the things I'd found strange before suddenly made sense. No wonder he got so angry when I suggested getting a second opinion at another hospital, and even burned the previous diagnosis report, so it was fake. No wonder they'd rather have me quit than hire a caregiver. No wonder my mother-in-law wasn't upset when she found out Lin Hui had a limp, and didn't even urge him to go to the hospital for treatment. Instead, she just kept faulting me so he wasn't paralyzed at all. No wonder, when I said I wanted to sell the shop, they both started shouting at me and kept making me help out there. So this was all just a test meant for me and me alone. Thinking of the suffering in my past life, I felt a surge of anger and slowly began to form a plan. I quickly composed myself and called Lin's mother, telling her I was worried about leaving Lin Hui alone at home and asking her to come over. They weren't really close, but once Lin Hui decided to test me, mother and son were instantly on the same side. Besides, how could my plan work without Lin's mother? Thinking back to my past life, when I saw Lin Hui paralyzed, and Lin's mother still refused to take care of him, I even felt sorry for Lin Hui and slapped myself hard twice. Sympathizing with men, he deserved to die. I clenched my fists and silently swore an oath. Since Lin Hui loves sitting in a wheelchair so much, I'll make sure he never gets out of it for the rest of his life. After hanging up, I sat there in the neighborhood and cried. Before long, one of the neighborhood aunties picked up on the melon gossip and came over. In my past life, because Lin Hui said he didn't want to see people look at him with strange eyes, I kept swallowing it all and bearing everything alone. That was why, after I died, Lin Hui and his mother could walk away completely unscathed. Not anymore. The ants had only just gotten me started. and I spilled everything like a broken bamboo tube full of beans. How my husband had suddenly had an accident and was now bedridden at home, and how he stubbornly refused to go to the hospital, seeing how pitiful and helpless I was. Aunt Wang, who works in the neighborhood community office, made the call and took 2 volunteers to my place to check on us, and to try to talk some sense into Lin Hui. Touched by how kind everyone was, I immediately texted Lin Hui to say I was heading home right away. I went home with the 3 aunts, and as soon as I stepped inside, I was hit by a foul stench just as I'd expected. Whenever I went out, Lin Hui would soil the bed and his clothes, then he would stare fixedly at my expression, and if it changed even slightly, he would fly into a rage. So when he saw so many people, his face instantly fell apart. I ignored him and said apologetically to the ladies, "I'm sorry, ma'am, my husband is incontinent now, so I'm going to clean him up." I tidied up a bit and invited the ladies to sit down. As for Lin Hui, the moment he saw them, he froze stiff like a statue. It's understandable. Pretending to be lame to test your wife is something no normal person would do, let alone smearing yourself with filth and urine. Now Lin Hui was really in a bind. Even if he wasn't lame, he had to obediently sit in that wheelchair and keep up the act, even though the windows were open for ventilation. The smell was still unbearable. The ladies offered a brief check-in, said a few perfunctory words of comfort, and hurried off. The moment they left, Lin Hui started losing it. "Do you want me dead or something? You even brought them here on purpose to laugh at me. If you want me dead, just kill me now. You're the kind of person who shits and pisses your pants, and you think I'd risk breaking the law for you?" I covered my face and cried out sobbing, "As long as you get better, you can curse me out all you want. I'm doing this for your own good. Why do you always doubt me?" Sitting steady as a rock in his wheelchair, Lin Hui coldly laid out my alleged crimes. "When I started telling you to quit your job, have a baby, and become a stay-at-home wife, why wouldn't you agree? And you still dressed up all flashy every day. Who knows who you were trying to seduce? If I weren't driving you to and from work every day, giving you no chance, I'd probably have been wearing a full green hat by now." My anger vanished in an instant, and goosebumps broke out all over my back. I thought he wouldn't let me wear skirts because he was jealous, and that picking me up and dropping me off was because he loved me. It turns out he was just uneasy about me all along. No wonder Qing Yun, an outsider, could sow discord so easily. He never trusted me from the very beginning. I didn't want children because I thought Lin Hui was a bit macho and petty. I figured we were still young and could work through it. With time, it's better to wait until both of us are more mature before having a child. That's also being responsible for the child. Looks like I made the right call. Otherwise, the one suffering now wouldn't just be me. The child would be dragged into this misery too. No wonder people say you only find out whether you married a human being or a monster after you get married. I had just pushed him into the bedroom and thrown his dirty clothes into the trash when Madame Lin arrived. As soon as she stepped in, she pinched her nose in disgust. "What on earth is that smell?" I gave an awkward, apologetic smile. "Sorry, Mom, I'm guessing Lin Hui peed the bed. I'll clean it up right away." The smell was truly unbearable, and since Lin's mother knew he was just pretending to be lame, she wasn't in any hurry and simply went along with it, agreeing. When Lin Hui heard Lin's mother's voice, he asked with a dark expression, "Why did you call Mom here? Do you not want to take care of me this soon?" I answered timidly, "You keep asking me to go help out at the shop, and you also don't want anyone else looking after you. I had no choice but to call your mom." Lin Hui thought it over and figured that since Lin's mother knew the truth, having one more person in on the act would actually make it seem more real. Before I helped him into the wheelchair, I quickly wiped him down with a towel. He asked in surprise, "What's that supposed to mean? Are you trying to put on a show now that my mom's here?" Even though I knew he and his mother were on the same side now, with Lin Hui's petty nature, he might not trust Lin Mu forever, so I fanned the flames quietly. "Mom came in just now and said the smell was awful. She wouldn't even come straight into the bedroom to see you. I'll clean you up first, then you can go out." Seeing Lin Hui's face turn much darker, I knew the seed had been planted. By the time I pushed Lin Hui into the living room, Lin Mu still hadn't had time to lower the hand covering her nose. Then mother and son put on a whole show of deep, devoted family affection right in front of me. Just like before, Mrs. Lin started nitpicking me and throwing sarcastic jabs my way nonstop, and just like before, Lin Hui stood by and watched it all with cold indifference. The next day, Lin Hui urged me again to go help out at the shop. I looked worried and said, "Now that Mom's here, I know that sounds fine, but you saw it yourself yesterday. She could barely even hold you up. I really don't feel comfortable with this. How about I teach her for 2 days first, and then I'll go?" Lin Hui really had nothing to say. After all, Mrs. Lin had always been all talk and no action. Then I asked them earnestly, my husband has been like this for a long time, and I'm worried his muscles will atrophy. I was thinking of hiring someone to come to the house and give him massages. What do you think of this doctor? He used to work at a top-tier hospital, fearing that things would be exposed if I brought in someone else. Lin Hui slammed down his bowl and chopsticks and refused flatly. You already said it can't be cured, so why bother with all this? I think you're just trying to get someone to come laugh at me. I bit my lip and asked pitifully, if you won't go to the hospital and won't let anyone see you, is your condition really that shameful? As soon as Mrs. Lin heard my suspicion, she quickly covered for herself. Xiaoya meant well too, we should have a doctor come take a look. Don't we know a massage doctor? Go get him. After saying that, she shot Lin Hui a look. Lin Hui immediately caught on. Right, Mom, go get Dr. Chung. I trust him, I don't trust anyone else. Mrs. Lin put down her bowl and chopsticks and left at once, afraid that if she was any slower, I'd ask for someone else. I lowered my head, worried I wouldn't be able to hide the smile on my face in my previous life. Lin Hui also said he wanted to call Dr. Chen. I didn't trust it. After I found out he had been involved in a medical malpractice incident before, I kept refusing, and for that they, mother and son, mocked me plenty. It wasn't until they later heard that he'd paralyzed someone while giving them a massage and bone-setting treatment that they finally shut up. So bringing Dr. Ching in not only saved an innocent person, but for Lin Hui, it was also a case of getting what he deserved. And most importantly, why would Lin Hui bring up Dr. Ching for no reason? Because he's Xing Yan's father, he's in the know, and he can help them act the part. Lin Hui and Lin's mother deserve punishment, and the other accomplices shouldn't think they can get away either. I watched from the side the whole time, using learning as an excuse so I could observe Dr. Chen's massage technique. When he said he was going to straighten out my cervical spine, I held my breath in nervous anticipation, and finally heard a crack. I hurriedly asked Lin Hui, honey, why was that so loud? Are you uncomfortable anywhere? Lin Hui rolled his neck and softly chided me. Why are you freaking out over nothing? I'm perfectly fine, aren't I? Don't make Dr. Chen laugh at us. Dr. Ching said in a very professional tone that this was perfectly normal. It's a natural reaction. The longer my husband lay there, the louder it sounded, and the more effective it was. Mother Lin chimed in from the side as well, saying I was making a fuss over nothing. That evening, just after I finished cooking dinner, I heard Lin Hui's panicked shout coming from the bedroom. I hurried into the bedroom and saw Lin Hui huddled awkwardly on the floor. When he saw me, he looked frantic and cried out, honey, hurry and help me to the hospital. My legs suddenly went numb. I said softly to comfort him, honey, are you still half asleep? Your legs were never able to move in the first place, remember? Lin Hui looked furious. What the hell do you know? Call an ambulance now. Take me to the hospital. Mrs. Lin thought Lin Hui was just coming up with another act to test me, and jumped in to curse me again. It has to be you, you jinx, who made my son angry. Look how you've upset him to the point of confusion. The doctor already said before that his legs couldn't be cured. Lin Hui was so angry his hair seemed to stand on end. He shouted at Mrs. Lin, cut the crap here. I'm not joking. Call an ambulance right now. Seeing that something was wrong with Lin Hui, Lin's mother finally panicked and rushed him to the hospital. Lin's mother looked uneasily at Lin Hui, whose face was ashen, and was no longer as arrogant as before. Once he got the diagnosis, Lin Hui finally blew up. He hurled the medical report at Lin's mother and roared, you really are my own mother. Why were you in such a rush to find a doctor? Now I've ended up paralyzed. Are you happy now? Lin's mother shot back in resentment. Weren't you the one who said to call him? I only went because I was afraid. And now you're blaming me, probably because I was there. Lin's mother gave a vague, half-hearted explanation. After hearing it, Lin Hui fell silent too, and the mother and son both turned to look at me. I crouched down to pick up the medical report. When I saw vertebral collapse and paralysis of the lower limbs, I couldn't help breaking into a broad smile. Seeing the mother and son stay silent, the doctor assumed they were too shocked to process it and had no choice but to come to me to discuss the treatment plan. Listening to the stream of medical jargon, I quickly picked out the key points. He said that with active treatment now, there was a chance of recovery. How could I ever let him recover? So I quickly adjusted my expression and screamed hysterically at the doctor, impossible. My husband clearly has a spinal injury. You must have made a mistake. Check again. My husband has already been paralyzed for days. Hearing what I said, the mother and son looked at me tensely. Looking at the frustrated doctor in front of me, I silently apologized to him in my heart and kept up my performance. If you're saying my husband was paralyzed because a vertebra slipped out of place, then was all the paralysis before that fake? Then what have I been doing all these days like an ox and a horse? What does it make of me having to clean up his filth and take care of his urine and stool? Seeing the crowd around us grow larger, I went a little crazy and pulled up the bruises on my arms, thanks to my scar-prone skin. The marks from what Lin Hui had smashed into me earlier looked especially frightening. Then I shouted, so what about the injuries he got when he flew into a rage and smashed things? Does my husband have a screw loose? Is he pretending to be lame just to scam me? You people must have it wrong. After saying that, I glared viciously at Lin Hui and, gasping for breath, asked, honey, tell me, have you ever been to the hospital before? And did the doctor tell you personally that you couldn't be cured? Lin Hui looked like he'd been startled by my sudden outburst, but I knew he was really just weighing the pros and cons in his head. He was genuinely paralyzed now and would definitely need someone to take care of him. As for his mother, she was clearly useless and not someone he could count on at all. If he admitted the paralysis was caused by the massage, I would definitely divorce him, and now everyone in the neighborhood knows he's been paralyzed. By then, people won't just say I was right to divorce him, they'll also say that mother and son got what they deserved. That's way too much to lose, so he quickly made his choice, nodding at me and saying firmly, that's what my previous doctor said too, honey, this hospital won't do, let's go home. After all, he was her biological son, so Lin's mother still cared about him to some extent. She asked cautiously, son, don't rush to jump to conclusions, how about we try treatment first? I gave her a cold, mocking look and asked, Mom, what do you mean? Back at home you said the doctor couldn't cure him, and now you're saying let's give it a try. I know you've never liked me, so whatever I do, you think I'm trying to hurt him, right? Fine, then I won't handle it anymore. You take care of your son yourself. Hearing that I was no longer going to interfere, Lin's mother didn't dare say anything else and just stood there awkwardly. Lin Hui, on the other hand, anxiously shoved Lin's mother aside and said, I think you're really losing it. I've told you many times before that it can't be cured, and you're still spouting nonsense here. Is this really the time to be putting on a mother-in-law power show? After saying that, he turned to me ingratiatingly, took my hand, and said softly, honey, don't take what my mom says to heart, let's go home. The people around us were also whispering to each other, all criticizing Lin's mother since even her own son had said so. What could Lin's mother possibly explain? She could only blush with embarrassment and silently follow us. The doctor tried to talk him out of it, but Lin Hui didn't give him a chance at all. In the end, under the doctor's look of disbelief, we left the hospital. As soon as we got home, Lin Hui said to me in a gentle tone, honey, you've had such a hard time lately. Tonight, you should sleep in the guest room and get some good rest. Let mom take care of me. Looking at the ingratiating expression on his face, I couldn't help but sneer. In my previous life, I was always understanding, tolerant, and accommodating, yet I never heard a single word of concern or consideration from him until the day I died. Now that my heart has turned harder, I'm hearing it instead. Looks like what people say online is really true. If a woman isn't ruthless, she won't hold her place. Even though I knew he was deliberately sending me away so he could discuss countermeasures with Lin's mother, I still nodded and agreed, then went to wash up and lay down as if nothing were wrong. Before long, I saw Lin's mother sneaking in and calling out to me in a low voice. I pretended to be asleep and didn't answer. Thinking I was asleep, she left. I quietly got up, tiptoed to the master bedroom door, and eavesdropped. Before they'd even exchanged a couple of sentences, the mother and son started blaming each other. Lin's mother was no longer as eager to stir things up as she had been in my previous life. Instead, she started scolding Lin Hui. I thought something was wrong with your head from the start. Just because an outsider said a few words, you pretended to be sick. Maybe they were just jealous that you two were living so well and trying to drive a wedge between you. What are we supposed to do now that it's come to this? I don't know what Lin Hui was thinking, but honestly, hearing that left me feeling all mixed up inside. For all those years in my past life, why didn't she educate Lin Hui? Instead, she teamed up with him to torment me. She didn't suddenly develop a conscience. She just wanted to shift the blame. Lin Hui wasn't the kind of person who could reflect on his own mistakes either. He snapped back on the spot. Then when I started telling you about it, why didn't you stop me? And you even said that girl Shin Yu seemed suspicious to you, so it was right to test her. What's the point of bringing this up now? Besides, if I'm messed up, then I should thank the mother who taught me by example since I was little. Who was it that kept testing me with the excuse that our family was poor? Who was it that had me in middle school pretending to be a classmate who wrote me a love letter to test me? You just couldn't stand me refusing your endless little tests, so I worked my ass off to get away from you and move out. No wonder Lin Hui turned out like this, so it all made sense. Still, I don't feel sorry for him. It's true that some people spend their whole lives healing their childhood wounds, but that's no excuse for him to hurt me. I sat there, amused, watching the mother and son tear into each other for a while, until they finally got to me. Lin Hui said in a downcast voice, "Not only can I not go to the hospital for treatment now, but I also can't make a big scene going after Dr. Ching. After all, everyone in the neighborhood knows I became paralyzed after falling." He let out another irritated roar. "Damn it, this is all Qing Yun's fault, that bitch." "You're right, she's just jealous that we're living so well," Lin's mother chided Lin Hui in a low voice. "Keep your voice down. If Xingyu hears this, it'll be over. She'll definitely divorce you. I'm saying this now. I'm old already, so I can't take care of you." After a moment of silence, she said with renewed confidence, "But don't worry too much. I'll figure something out on Qing Yun's end. She's just a nurse. How could she have the ability to forge a diagnosis report? Your job right now is to keep Xingyu calm." The mother and son talked for a while longer, but I got fed up listening and went back to sleep on my own. The next day, I slept until I woke up. Naturally, when I got up, I saw Lin Hui sitting in the living room watching TV. Seeing me get up, he smiled and asked, "Wifey, you're awake. You haven't slept this well in a long time, have you? You've really had it rough these past few days." I couldn't hold back either, and shot back sarcastically, "Am I dreaming or something? I'd better go check whether the sun rose from the west today. What's gotten into you? Or are you just trying a different way to torment me?" Lin Hui felt guilty, so he didn't dare argue with me. He put on a smile and explained, "Wifey, I know I used to have a bad temper and made you feel wronged, but I've thought it through now. We still have a long road ahead of us, and I can't keep making you carry everything in this house alone. I should change my rotten temper too. From now on, let's live well together. Like hell I'd live well with a freak like you. Who do you think you are?" I ignored him and kept washing up, while Lin Hui kept chattering away beside me. Once I was done getting ready, he finally sensed something was off and nervously asked, "Honey, are you dressing up so nicely because you're going out? Where are you going?" I glanced at him, dug out a lip gloss that had been gathering dust for ages, and applied it slowly. "You look like this yourself, and you still want to drag me down until I look like a beggar. Are you going to accuse me of dressing up to seduce men like you did before?" Lin Hui forced out a stiff, awkward laugh. "No, of course not. You looking beautiful makes me look good too. I was just checking on you." I nodded in satisfaction. "That's more like it." After putting on my shoes, I said casually, "Weren't you always telling me to help out at the store?" "You're right, life is long, and our family can't just sit around living off what we have. I'm heading to the store now." Seeing Lin Hui's conflicted expression, I added, "Haven't you always said that Shirley is your good brother? If you can trust him, why not just stay home and wait for me?" Under Lin Hui's sour expression, I walked out of the house cheerfully. I didn't go to the store. Lin Hui must have already said something to Shirley to slander me, and just thinking about the way Shirley looked at me made me feel nauseous. Thinking about Xiaomin that Qing Yun mentioned before he died, I went to a coffee shop and searched online. I wouldn't have known it otherwise. Turns out Xiaomin was Qing Yun's best friend, but online rumors say she died from an allergic reaction to medication while being treated at Qing Yun's family clinic, and as a result, Qing Yun's father had his medical license revoked. My gut tells me there's definitely something wrong here. Otherwise, Qing Yun wouldn't have said that to Shirley for no reason. Now that something had happened to Lin Hui, Qing Yun would definitely go to Shirley for help, so I started keeping watch near my own shop, but I didn't see anything until the afternoon. I figured I must have been wrong, so I had no choice but to go home. As soon as I walked in the door, I saw Lin Hui staring at me with a sullen face, as if I had been sneaking around on him. I didn't indulge him either. He was the one who had forced me to go to the shop in the first place. As a dutiful wife, everything I'm doing now is just according to his arrangement. Seeing that I didn't go over to greet him like I used to, Lin Hui came up to me without a word and asked tentatively, "Is the shop busy today?" I was sitting on the couch scrolling through my phone, and I answered lazily, "It's alright, I guess, nothing special." After hesitating for a moment, he said softly, "Why don't you go ahead and transfer your shares like you said before? This is really too hard on you." I sneered to myself. Now that the baby was crying, he finally remembered to look for the milk. I wonder what his response was when I said this before. I threw my phone down and asked sharply, "Lin Hui, what the hell do you mean? Are you deliberately going against me? I told you before I wanted to sell it, and you said I was short-sighted. We'd just be eating ourselves out of house and home. I've already quit my job, and now the shop is being transferred. Do you expect me to live on thin air with you? Do you even want to keep this marriage going? If you don't, just say so. Lin Hui shrank helplessly in the wheelchair and said meekly, no, honey, don't be mad, listen to me. I didn't mean that at all. I took a sip of water and stared at him blankly. Fine, then explain it. Let me hear what you're really thinking. One day it's one thing, the next it's something else. He broke out in a cold sweat and said anxiously, I'm just afraid it'll be too hard on you. You have to take care of me at home and help out at the shop. And I feel sorry for you. Why didn't you care about me before? I said coldly, you knew how hard things have been for me, and you even refused to let me hire a caregiver because of it. You know I'm struggling, and you still deliberately made a mess with your urine and stool. Just thinking about it filled me with rage. I couldn't help hurling the cup at him. I must have been blind back then. How did I end up marrying a bastard like you? After saying that, I didn't even look at how bedraggled he looked. I went straight into the guest room and cried my heart out. I cried for a long time before finally letting out all the hurt and resentment inside me. I had truly been foolish beyond belief. How could I have fallen for his lies so easily? Lin Hui didn't dare come in and keep provoking me. He just knocked softly, and I ignored him. Before long, I heard the door open. Lin's mother had come back, seeing the mess all over the floor. Lin's mother couldn't help lecturing him. I'm not trying to nag you, but why can't you get your temper under control? What are you going to do if Xiaoye gets so mad she runs off one day? Lin Hui explained helplessly. It wasn't me. It was her who threw it. Lin's mother looked at him in disbelief. Xiaoye got mad. Did she figure out you lied to her? Lin Hui hurriedly told her to keep it down. Lower your voice. I just didn't want her going back to the shop anymore. I said a couple of things and she blew up. Lin's mother lowered her voice. You deserve it. Who goes around smearing their own wife like that? Aren't you just pushing your wife into someone else's arms? Shirley isn't married yet, so you'd better watch it. I was honestly speechless with Lin's mother, back when she and Lin Hui were hiding it from me. She sure didn't have this righteous, reasonable tone right now. The only reason is that no one's looking after Lin Hui. The mother and son are both no good. Then Lin's mother proudly boasted to Lin Hui about her achievement. I started by showing Qingyun that bitch your medical report. She still tried to deny it. What did that little brat think she was doing, trying to lie in front of me? I asked her right then and there. Do you still want to keep your shop open or not? That fake certificate of yours, you couldn't have gotten it on your own, could you? If you don't settle my son's matter, I'll make sure you and the people behind you suffer too. That's when she finally agreed to pay, but said she needed to find a way to raise the money. Lin Hui said bitterly. At least she knows what's good for her. If I hadn't been worried Xinyu would find out, I wouldn't have let her off so easily. Then he reminded Lin's mother, these next few days, bring me back to the hospital quietly and have another look. If they can't cure me, Qingyun will pay for it. Leaning against the wall, I let out a cold laugh. How could I ever give you the chance to get back on your feet? Lin Hui. The next day, when I went out, Lin Hui's face was still flushed with anger, but he held it in and gently told me to come home early. I kept waiting outside the shop. The compensation Lin Hui and the others wanted was no small amount, and I bet Qingyun would definitely come back looking for Shirley. Hearing their conversation before I died made me feel that their relationship was far more than just that of ex-husband and ex-wife, and I was honestly curious too. I'd only run into Qingyun a few times before, and we'd barely exchanged a few words. Why did she have such a strong grudge against me? Not only did she smear me as promiscuous, she even took the risk of giving Lin Hui a fake medical record. Just when I thought she wasn't coming back, Qingyun showed up. I watched her hurry into the shop, and I quickly came in through the back door too, but the moment I got inside, I heard her arguing with Shirley, and I panicked and hid in the storeroom. As soon as I hid behind a large box, I heard Qingyun shout angrily, fine, Shirley, so you don't want to help after all. You pushed it from the day before yesterday to yesterday, from yesterday to today, and now you won't even answer my calls or reply to my messages. Is that it? Stone Lei sighed helplessly. I'm telling you, sis, keep your voice down. Don't let the employees hear you. If I remember right, we're already divorced, aren't we? Didn't I hear you say you were dating a doctor a while ago? Why are you asking me for money? Go ask him for it. Qingyun gave a cold laugh. So you really don't want to help, huh? Stone Lei, let me tell you this, whether you want to or not, you're helping, even if we've been divorced for ages. If I ask you for money, you still have to give it. Don't forget how Xiao Min died. I crouched nervously behind the crate, my phone's recorder already on. Looks like this trip really wasn't for nothing. But then came a dull thud, followed by Qingyun's gasp. It looked like Stone Lei had laid hands on Qingyun. I'm warning you, Don't you dare use Xiaomin's death to threaten me. She died at your clinic, and besides, you personally testified that I wasn't there. I even gave your family a huge sum afterward. This has nothing to do with me anymore." He let go of Qingyun and said with a grin, "Well, as the saying goes, a couple for a day, a bond for 100 days. Since my ex-wife came to me for help, I'll pitch in a little. 3 or 5,000, leaning against the wall and clutching her neck, Qingyun sneered. 3 or 5,000, are you trying to brush me off like a beggar? You think it's all over just because my dad took the fall for you back then, Lin Hui? You're dreaming. Let me remind you. Back then Xiaomin came to see me, and you wanted to take advantage of her, so you drugged her. But who would have thought she was allergic and died from it? You were so pathetic then, kneeling and begging, promising you'd treat me well, telling me to find a way to take the blame. Don't you remember?" Shirley sneered lazily. "So what? And how noble are you, really? You keep saying she's your best friend, but in the end you still helped me for money, didn't you? Your dad didn't do that for free. If I hadn't given him $1 million, would he have covered for me?" Qingyun wore an airy smile. "That's why I said you have to help me. I've got the video from that day. I really want to marry my current boyfriend, and if I can't get engaged, then we're all screwed." She moved closer to Shirley and gently stroked his face. "Ex-husband, you want me to be happy too, don't you?" Shirley's face darkened. He clenched and unclenched his fists for a long moment before grinding out, "Fine. But I'm warning you, this is the last time. If you dare come at me with this again, then don't blame me for taking you down with me." It wasn't until quite a while after they left that I finally slipped out through the back door. I rubbed the goosebumps on my arms. So Xiaomin's death wasn't an accident. No wonder Shirley was so calm in my past life after I died. He had already killed a girl before. No wonder Qingyan agreed to the compensation so easily. She didn't have to pay out of pocket. She had leverage on Shirley. I was baffled as to why Qingyun would frame me, and I went home in shock and confusion. Lin Hui wasn't at home. He must have gone to the hospital with his mother. When they came back and saw me there, they couldn't help but get a little nervous. Lin Hui struck first. "Honey, why are you back so early? You don't look too well either. Did something happen?" I absent-mindedly shook my head and asked, "Where did you two go?" Lin Hui rubbed his nose and said sheepishly, "I'd been cooped up at home for too long, so I had Mom wheel me out for some fresh air." I quickly offered some concern. "If you wanted to get some air, why didn't you say so sooner? Honey, Mom's getting older. How could we keep making her work so hard? I'll push you tomorrow." Lin Hui was delighted when he heard that. "So you're not going to the shop anymore?" I laughed and patted him. "The store isn't more important than my husband." Lin Hui was so moved he took my hand, and I smiled back at him. "Since I'm keeping you company, you can't go to the hospital anymore." Seeing us like that, Lin's mother also put on an act and sighed. "Seeing you two like this, I can finally relax." In an instant, the house was filled with a warm and peaceful atmosphere. So once again, I took meticulous care of Lin Hui as I had before. He had also toned it down quite a bit, doing what he could to make things less exhausting for me. As a result, caring for him was actually much easier when he was really paralyzed than when he was faking it. This only made me see more clearly just how twisted this man really was, although Lin's mother didn't help out. And unlike in my previous life, she never picked on me at every turn. Instead, she praised and complimented me every day. If I hadn't been reborn, they really might have fooled me into happily working myself to the bone and taking care of Lin Hui for decades to come. A few days later, I figured Qingyun's compensation had probably come through, and after sizing up the looks on Lin's mother's and Lin Hui's faces, I made my move. While Lin Hui was resting, I put on a fake sweet act and bragged, "Sigh, Lin Hui really is something else." I already told him we need to save money now and not spend carelessly, but he said I've worked so hard lately and insisted on buying me this huge gold bangle. "Gold prices are so high right now, Mom. You really need to talk some sense into him." After hearing that, Lin's mother stormed out with a darkened face. "That's between you young newlyweds. I'm not getting involved." I laughed heartily as I watched her walk away. I know Lin's mother all too well. She has always seen me as an outsider and thought any money Lin Hui spent on me was a waste. We'd argued about it countless times before, and now that Lin Hui was really paralyzed, he had embarrassed her and put her on the spot many times because of me. Now that the compensation had come through, Lin Hui ignored her and bought things for me instead. How could she possibly take that lying down? Still, I wasn't lying to her either. Lin Hui really did say it, though it was just an empty promise to keep me on the hook. Mother Lin moved fast. Before I could keep fanning the flames, she asked Lin Hui for money while I was cooking. I guess I'd passed the test in his eyes since I wasn't going to the shop and was sticking close to Lin Hui every day, so that night Lin Hui told me about it. then asked me in a low, hurt voice, "Honey, do you think there are parents in this world who don't love their own children?" He knows exactly what I'm like now. And still asked me for money to buy jewelry. Of course I comforted him gently, and even tried to explain things for Mother Lynn. Maybe Mom thinks you've been especially good to me and wants to test you. Maybe she doesn't really want it. Maybe she just wants to prove she matters more. Heaven is my witness. I was really trying to help Mother Lynn. But to my surprise, Lin Hui flew into a rage after hearing that. A test? Even with me like this, she still wants to test me. What gives her the right? What has she done these past few days besides sit at home and do nothing worthwhile? If it weren't for her, I yawned and brushed it off. Don't be mad, no matter what. She's still your mom. Go to bed early. Listening to Lin Hui grinding his teeth in frustration, I drifted off to sleep with a smile. My dear mother-in-law, your son is about to put you to the test now. You'd better not let him down. I don't know what Lin Hui said to Mrs. Lin, but the next day, she seemed pretty happy when I saw her. The moment I saw Lin Hui putting on that fake smile, I knew he had already started making his move. Looking back now, he had acted the same way not long before. He pretended to be lame, smiling so politely, so gently, that it was almost unsettling. Mrs. Lin was bound to lose. It wasn't that I was underestimating her. It was that I knew Lin Hui too well. Once suspicion takes root in him, the guilt is already settled in his mind. And then he'll use every means possible to make it stick. Just like in my past life, when nothing was going on, he could create chances for me to meet Shirley on one hand, while telling Shirley on the other that I was loose and promiscuous. I watched his mother fawning over Lin Hui, and I couldn't help feeling sorry for her. I still spent every day around Lin Hui, occasionally trying to persuade him to go to the hospital, only to be turned down and go home to watch their loving mother and son act. But when I pushed Lin Hui back from his walk that day, I found that his mother was nowhere to be seen. The bedroom was in complete disarray, and I cried out, "Oh no, has a thief broken into the house?" After rummaging through the closet, I turned to him, who was watching coldly from the sidelines, and cried, "Honey, call the police now. The gold bars you had someone swap out a few days ago have been stolen." Lin Hui fiddled with the phone and said in a cold voice, "No need, I know who took them." I looked at him in confusion. He sighed and explained calmly, "We can't call the police. Mom stole the gold bars." Of course I knew it was her who stole them. Not only did I know she stole them, I also knew the gold bars were fake. I knew something was off the moment he had someone deliver it that day. He said it was gold bars he'd exchanged through a friend, and with gold prices holding their value right now, he told me to put them away safely afterward. Would a stingy man like him really hand over the real thing and tell me to hide it well? And he said it right in front of Lin's mother, almost as if he was afraid she wouldn't know. I knew then and there it was a trap. But I still put on a shocked look and covered my mouth. Really, why would Mom do that? What are we supposed to do about our family? Lin Hui said dejectedly. You know that all along I've been giving Mom living expenses every month. Now that I'm sick, she's worried I won't be able to support her anymore, and lately she's even been asking me for a large sum of money. I wanted her to know I was capable of supporting her in old age. Coincidentally, gold prices went up, so I turned my savings into gold bars. I thought seeing that would put her at ease. I never expected her to really ignore our mother-son bond and take everything. I patted him on the back to comfort him, saying, "Could you have gotten it wrong? I don't believe Mom is that kind of person." Lin Hui handed me his phone sadly. "Look, she's already blocked me. I can't get in touch with her anymore. And there's also the video of her stealing." I looked at the video on the phone. So the bedroom had been fitted with a surveillance camera. Back then, when I was worried he might fall, I wanted to install one, but he flat out refused. Now, though, to test his own mother, he was surprisingly willing. But I can understand it. He used to fake being lame because he was afraid I'd find out. Now he isn't scared anymore. Lin Hui looked at me with a face full of sorrow. "Wife, now that Mom has taken our savings, are you going to look down on me?" I swallowed my disgust and hugged him. "What nonsense are you talking? As long as you're okay, that's all that matters. Worst case, your wife will make money to support you." What a sick freak. He even managed to test me on top of all that. Once he'd calmed down, I took the opportunity to suggest, "Honey, I'd like to put a security camera in the living room too. What do you think?" Right now, I was the closest person he had, so of course he wouldn't refuse. I didn't know how long it would take Madame Lin to realize the gold bars were fake. Anyway, Lin Hui was clearly miserable and visibly looking more and more downcast. Every time I saw him suffering, I could eat 2 extra bowls of rice. When I died, I never saw him this heartbroken. Looks like emotional blows from family really do hurt the most, but I'm not going to let him keep spiraling like this. I'm itching to swing my blade. One day, While we were eating, I anxiously brought it up with Lin Hui. Honey, our savings aren't really that much anymore. How about we transfer our shares in the shop? Lin Hui looked at me in surprise after hearing that. You were still mad the last time I brought it up. What's going on? I knew he'd react like that, so I lowered my head and said hesitantly, before, I figured that since I'd already quit my job, at least we'd still have a steady source of income, but when I went to help out at the shop, the way Shirley looked at me made me uncomfortable. She said this and gave Lin Hui a resentful look. But I was too scared to tell you then. You always said he was your best brother. After hearing that, Lin Hui clenched his fists and asked me angrily, that bastard didn't do anything to you, did he? I hurriedly waved my hands. No, nothing like that. Maybe I was just overthinking it. Anyway, I never want to be around him again. Only then did Lin Hui break into a smile and gently put food on my plate. Shirley is no good. It's a good thing my wife stays alert. Then we won't go there anymore. I was already uneasy about you going anyway, Thinking about the things he used to say and do only makes me more determined to do what I'm about to do. I set down my bowl and chopsticks and sighed. It's just that your leg still needs treatment, and if we go to a good hospital later on, it's bound to cost a lot. Besides, there's no rush to sell the shares anyway. I paused on purpose, then glanced around and leaned in mysteriously to whisper to Lin Hui. But I found out a secret about Shirley and Qingyun. I don't think they're good people. It's better not to have anything to do with people like that. Lin Hui already hated Qingyun, and now he had a bad impression of Shirley too. After hearing that, he kept pressing me about what the secret was. I really played it up before I told him only part of what had happened that day. As soon as I came in through the back door that day, I heard them arguing. I figured I'd stumbled into an awkward situation and thought I'd hide out in the warehouse for a bit. I never expected to overhear this. I trimmed the recording on my phone, keeping only the part where Qingyun talked about Xiamen, and played it for Lin Hui. Looking at Lin Hui's focused, thoughtful expression, I asked hesitantly, honey, do you think what they said is true? If it is, should we call the police? After hearing it, Lin Hui stopped me with a smile. Silly wife, you can't go to the police with nothing but this and no evidence. They might even turn around and blame you. Send this to me. I'll ask around with some friends. I sneered to myself. Honestly, I don't even want to say it. Lin Hui, do you even have a real friend? I think he just wants to use this to extort money. At the end of the day, the source of all this is Qingyun, but if it weren't for Shirley, he wouldn't even know Qingyun. On top of that, I also said that Shirley had inappropriate thoughts about me, so he would definitely hate Shirley even more, no matter what he did or said before. Anyway, now everything is someone else's fault. On top of that, I don't doubt him anymore now. He'll definitely need leg treatment later, and when it comes to money, whoever feels like they have too much now that he has such a perfect handle on her, I don't believe he'll just let it go to waste. So I obediently sent it to him, and didn't forget to remind him worriedly, honey, please don't have anything to do with them anymore. People like that are terrifying. Listening to the recording on his phone, Lin Hui said carelessly, relax, this is a society ruled by law now. What can they do to me? He tilted his head up, pinched my cheek, and said slyly, besides, who said I had to deal with them head on? They've been divorced for so long, it's only normal that they wouldn't be on the same page. So he was trying to sow discord. I pretended not to understand and asked with an innocent, clueless look, with his revenge finally within reach, Lin Hui was in a great mood, so he just took my hand and brushed me off casually. Thinking about what Shirley had said at the end, I looked at him with a smile too. From now on, seeing that smile on his face again was probably going to be difficult as a good wife. He told me not to worry about it, so of course I never asked. Lately, I've gotten really into all kinds of community activities, health lectures, or learning massage and acupressure techniques. Aunt Wang saw that I was interested and dragged me to class with her, seeing me going with the neighborhood ladies to learn these things for his own good. Lin Hui was also happy to have plenty of time alone, so he never complained about me leaving early and coming home late every day. After all, some things are better kept from me. As far as those little tricks of his go, I pretend not to see them. You two can tear into each other all you want, just don't drag me into it. And so, day after day, I watched Lin Hui confidently fiddle with his phone, wearing a smile full of secrets. That day, as I was heading out, Lin Hui suddenly asked with concern, honey, what time does your class end today? I knew in my heart that he was probably about to make his move today, so after thinking it over, I replied, if nothing comes up, I'll be back around 4 or 5 this afternoon. Why, honey? Lin Hui rubbed his chin, thinking it over. This afternoon should be fine too. Shirley said he wants to come by the house to see me, I immediately grabbed his hand, panic rising. What do we do, honey? Did he find out I recorded him? Could I be in danger? I'm not going. I'll stay home with you, or maybe we should. Just call the police. Seeing how flustered I was, Lin Hui gave a disdainful smile and patted my hand to comfort me. Look at how scared you are. He's just coming over to talk about the shares. Why would we call the police? Go to class. I kept holding on to his hand, looking at him worriedly. No, honey, I'm still worried. What if something happens while you and he are alone at home? Lin Hui pointed at the living room surveillance camera, brimming with confidence. There's a camera here. What can he do to me? Don't worry and go. I'm still waiting for you to learn how, so you can come back and give me a leg massage. Be good. Hurry up and go. I reluctantly pushed the door open and left. The moment I stepped out of the house, I lowered my head. I was afraid my smile would be too obvious and someone would notice. He was unexpectedly capable. In just a few days, he'd managed to get Shirley to come to the house. I had originally been worried that if Shirley gave him trouble, I'd get dragged into it. But now that problem had been perfectly solved, I was distracted the entire morning during the lecture, and even Sister Wang could tell. It wasn't until class was over and I'd helped Aunt Wang with things for a while that I finally had time to check my phone. I turned on the surveillance feed and saw a scene that made me overjoyed. I was so happy I couldn't help but cry out. The aunts heard me and came over too. When they saw it, they all gasped in fright. I seemed to be stunned. Silly, numbly listening as the aunts called the police. It wasn't until the police arrived that I numbly went home with them. The moment I opened the front door, the stench of blood hit me in the face. 3 people were lying in the living room. Shirley was face down on the floor, his life and death unknown, with a large pool of blood beneath him. Lin's mother was unexpectedly at home too, but she was lying on her back with a knife stuck in her chest, her eyes wide open and fixed on the ceiling. She seemed to be dead. That bastard Lin Hui was still lucky enough to be alive. He was sitting on the floor in a daze, and his eyes lit up when he saw me, but when he saw the police officers behind me, his face turned ashen. I covered my face, slowly squatted down, and sobbed softly. How could this happen? What on earth happened? The police quickly called an ambulance and took the 3 of them away. I was also taken to the police station by a female officer for questioning. At the station, I told them everything I had done, truthfully and in full. After my husband became paralyzed, he asked me to help out at the shop. By chance, I came across them arguing, so I recorded it and went back to tell my husband, hoping he would stay away from Shirley. I didn't take part in what happened after that. I wasn't worried the police would investigate me anyway. I had the neighborhood ladies to back me up. After I finished giving my statement, the officer gave me a stern lecture. If you come across a lead in the future, don't be afraid it might be fake. Hand it straight to the police. We'll verify whether it's real or not. Tears welling in my eyes, I nodded and said guiltily, did this happen because of the recording? Is my husband okay now? Will he go to prison? The female officer looked at me sympathetically and, somewhat reluctantly, handed me her phone. You haven't seen the home surveillance footage yet, have you? I suggest you take a look, but please, stay calm. I opened the app and started watching the replay. Things were even more dramatic than I'd expected. Not long after I left, Shirley arrived. Seeing Lin Hui sitting in a wheelchair, he looked thoroughly contemptuous, so the moment he came in he flopped down brazenly on the sofa and taunted shamelessly, where's your wife? Why isn't she home? Off out cheating again? Lin Hui didn't get angry. Instead, he looked at him with the same expression one would use on garbage and said haughtily, I'm very unhappy with your attitude, so I've changed my mind. You'll have to pay more. Shirley suddenly lashed out, lunged forward, grabbed Lin Hui by the neck, and sneered, you fucking crippled cuckold. Do you really think a recording you got from God knows where is enough to climb over my head? Have I been too nice to you all this time that you think you can threaten me too? Lin Hui struggled desperately, but his mobility was limited. Only when Shirley saw his face turning red from being choked did he finally let go. Then said with arrogant menace, I'll put it bluntly, I've already got one life on my hands, so I'm not afraid to add another. If you know what's good for you, hand over the original. Out of our past friendship, I'll pretend this never happened, and we'll still be brothers. After saying that, he wore a strange, lewd grin. Didn't you ask me to keep an eye on your sister-in-law more? I'll keep helping with that too. How about it? Lin Hui was so smug about how clever he was, using me and my mother to play us against each other, and that only made him feel like everything was under control. On top of that, we were at home, with surveillance cameras overhead. I could catch him at any time. How could he possibly give in so easily? So he defiantly spat at Shirley, if you've got the guts, kill me, otherwise, we'll both go down together. After hearing that, Shirley didn't waste any time. Threatening Qingyun alone was one thing, after all, she was in on it, but Lin Hui was different. He knew that if he gave in this time, what would come next would be endless extortion, so he went straight for the fists, hitting hard and landing every blow. You fucking refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Speak, where is the stuff? It was only after the beating that Lin Hui realized how crazy the man he had thought was his brother really was. Miserably sprawled on the floor, he said it was on his phone. Shirley unlocked his phone, fiddled with it for a bit, then smashed it to pieces. After that, he kept kicking and punching Lin Hui. Speak, are there any originals left? Dodging the blows, Lin Hui explained, no, that's all Qingyun sent me. Hearing that, Shirley sneered and gave him another brutal beating. In the end, he stepped on his face and snarled condescendingly, you're still trying to lie to me at a time like this, go ask around and find out who the hell I am. Lin Hui defended himself through tears and snot, I'm really not lying to you. My leg was crippled by Qingyun's dad, I asked her for money, and when she couldn't give it to me, she handed me the recording and told me to ask you for it. She really only gave me this one part. Shirley stopped when he heard that, lit a cigarette, took a few drags, then pressed the glowing red end against Lin Hui's face. You almost had me fooled, don't I know Qingyun? She's dead set on finding a second husband now and can't wait to dump me. How would she dare come looking for me on her own? I'll show you what happens when you keep lying. I'm beating you to death today. Saying that, he kept kicking Lin Hui. Lin Hui kept begging for mercy while repeatedly looking at the camera, hoping I would notice something off and come save him, but he was disappointed. Just as Shirley took a brief breather, Lin Hui's adrenaline surged, and he grabbed Shirley by the leg and dragged him down to the ground. After Shirley landed hard on the back of his head, he struggled to get back up. Lin Hui sat up too, grabbed a stick, and crazily smashed Shirley's head over and over. He didn't stop until Shirley finally went still. At that moment, the door opened, and Lin's mother walked in. Mrs. Lin let out a scream and helped Lin Hui to his feet. What happened? How did you end up like this? Lin Hui's eyes were full of violence. Don't worry about that now, go get me the fruit knife first. Mrs. Lin came back with a knife and asked shakily, son, why you didn't kill someone, did you? Lin Hui didn't answer. Pointing at Shirley's body, he viciously ordered, go stab him twice. Lin's mother staggered back, trembling. Have you lost your mind? I'm your own mother, and now you want me to kill someone? Lin Hui screamed like a madman. What kind of mother steals her son's savings and runs off? I'm giving you a chance right now, go stab him, you're old anyway, and he struck first. Later we'll just say you were defending yourself because you were afraid he'd beat me to death. As long as you stab him, I'll give you all the money in the house. Seeing that Lin's mother still wouldn't step forward, he cried out, Mom, I'm your own son, if you don't help me now, I'm really finished. Didn't you say I was the one you loved most? Summoning her courage, Lin's mother closed her eyes and moved toward Shirley, only for Shirley to suddenly wake up. Seeing her holding a knife, he immediately grappled with her. Seeing this, Lin Hui picked up a stick, seized the chance, and brought it crashing down on Shirley's back of the head. Shirley collapsed, but the knife was also still lodged in Lin's mother's chest. I had originally thought it would just be Lin Hui and Shirley wrestling with each other, but I never expected Lin's mother to suddenly come back. Those who toy with people's hearts will ultimately be trapped by them. Lin Hui didn't know that what people's hearts can least withstand is a test. The female officer saw me standing there in a daze and assumed I'd been hit hard by the news. She patted my back to comfort me. Try to look on the bright side, life is still a long road ahead. I lowered my head and asked sadly, will my husband go to prison? Seeing me like that, the female officer sounded a little exasperated, as if she were angry that I couldn't get it together. He committed intentional murder. He'll be executed. You don't need to be this upset over someone like him. We questioned Qingyun. You know, your husband was pretending to be lame from the very beginning just to trick you. I looked at her in shock. Impossible. Why would he lie to me when he was perfectly fine? The female officer let out a sigh. Qingyun spilled everything. She heard from Shirley that Lin Hui drove you to and from work every day, and she was jealous of how well you were doing, so she deliberately told Lin Hui that she had seen you acting intimately with another man. That's what gave Lin Hui the idea to pretend to be lame and test you. You really were lucky. If not for all those twists of fate afterward, you might actually have been bullied by Shirley. Silly girl, don't be sad over someone like that. Cherish every day ahead of you. I walked out of the Public Security Bureau and let out a long sigh. At last, everything had come to an end. Lin's mother is dead, Shirley is dead too, and Qingyun has been sent to prison. She won't be getting out for 7 or 8 years. and the doctor boyfriend who helped her forge the diagnosis didn't escape the law either. Everyone who hurt me has been punished. At last, I can start my new life properly. What the female police officer said was right. I'm lucky. There must still be many girls in this world, just like I was in my past life, being deceived and used by people with ulterior motives. I hope they all, like me, get a chance to start over later. A lawyer called me and said Lin Hui wanted to see me. I refused. Trash should stay in the trash heap and wait to be disposed of. Time went by, and at last I had become a wealthy widow, legally and properly. When I went to get Lin Hui's death certificate, I ran into the female police officer who had comforted me. Before he died, Lin Hui came to me. Since you refused to visit him, he could only ask me to pass along a message. He said that after he went to prison, he had a dream where he wasn't paralyzed, but you were bullied by Shirley, ran away, fell, and died. He wanted to say he was sorry to you. I asked with a soft laugh, so what did you say? The policewoman looked up and laughed brightly. I'm saying I won't pass along any message to him. If he has any spirit left, let him come and repent to you himself. Seeing that you're doing well now, I'm relieved. Please keep living well and loving yourself, The end. Story 2. On New Year's Eve, I was having a video call with my best friend to celebrate the new year. I made a bold statement. Next year, I will definitely win your second uncle's heart. A noisy sound came from my best friend's side of the phone. I was about to hang up when, in the next second, a deep male voice came from the other end of the phone. Okay, I didn't go out on the last day of this year. Instead, I was at home switching channels one by one to watch the New Year's Eve galas. I couldn't help it. I had so many idols, and they were all performing on different channels. I almost made the remote control in my hand smoke from pressing it so much, for I was afraid of missing any of my idols' wonderful performances. I watched the TV intently until midnight. As soon as the countdown ended, my best friend's video call came in along with the Happy New Year blessing. I answered the call and said with a big smile, Happy New Year, honey. I wish a pie would fall from the sky for you in the new year. My best friend's loud laughter came from the phone. She said excitedly, I love this blessing. You're really something, you Xing. I smiled meaningfully, taking pride in my words without showing it. My best friend is currently abroad on the other side of the ocean. Her family goes abroad every year to celebrate the new year, and this year is no exception. It's really hard for her to still catch the time difference to celebrate the new year with me. The two of us, through the video call, started daydreaming and looking forward to the future, like earning 2 million yuan effortlessly next year or getting out of the single state next year. I got so excited that I vowed, next year, I will definitely win your second uncle's heart. My best friend shushed me and said with disdain, You've been saying this for ages, so how far have you gotten? I smiled slightly and said proudly, the only thing missing between us is getting to know each other before getting married. Best friend. She rolled her eyes at me and didn't bother to respond. I was in a good mood and had already started imagining where to buy the grave for Lu Che and me to be buried together. Lu Che, my best friend's second uncle, is my senior from college. I fell in love with him at first sight. The first time I saw him was when he came to deliver something to my best friend. After Lu Che left, I immediately grabbed my best friend's collar and asked, Where did you meet such a handsome boyfriend? You didn't even tell me. Are we still best friends? My best friend was probably dizzy from being shaken by me. She immediately reached out to hold me down. Wait, who told you he's my boyfriend? That's my second uncle. I froze with my hand still holding my best friend's hand. The smile on my lips stiffened a bit as I said, second uncle. He doesn't look that old. My best friend rolled her eyes at me and said speechlessly, Who said a second uncle has to be old? He just has a high seniority. In fact, he's only 1 grade older than us. That's when I learned that Lu Che is a senior from our school and even a well-known figure. I asked my best friend about Lu Che for a long time that day. 5 years have passed since then. I've been saying every year that I'll pursue him, but every year I'm too chicken to take action. However, this doesn't stop me from talking big. I was talking happily when suddenly a noisy sound came from my best friend's side. What's wrong with you? I looked at the screen, and it was pitch black on my best friend's side. I shook my phone a couple of times and called her several times, but there was no response. I couldn't help but mutter, Is it a connection issue? This network is so bad. As I said that, I was about to turn off the video call. Just as I was about to press the hang up button, the video suddenly lit up again. The male protagonist of my bragging, my best friend's second uncle with a high seniority, was now facing the camera, looking at me with a beaming smile. You want to chase me? Okay, I'm coming back to China tomorrow. I'll give you this chance. After he said that, he hung up the phone, leaving me facing a blank phone screen. It took me a while to blurt out a word. I couldn't come to my senses the whole night. I got up groggily in the morning, planning to play a hit song to boost my spirits, when I saw a message from my best friend, Yu Xingxing, come to pick me up at the airport at 4 p.m. It was just a brag. Were they really going to take it seriously? I scrambled to find my best friend's phone number and dialed it. Alas, she was out of service area. She must be on the plane. Thinking of Lu Che's handsome face, I felt like crying but had no tears. Second uncle, please listen to my explanation. Since I couldn't get in touch with her by phone, I dawdled all day, but eventually went to the airport. Shortly after 4 p.m., my best friend's call came through, and she shouted with full force, Yu Xingxing, where are you? I was in a corner. I lowered my voice and asked her secretly, like a thief, is your second uncle back? He's not back. She answered so quickly and fluently that I didn't suspect her at all. I immediately cheered excitedly, wait, I'll come and hug you right away. I've been avoiding this for 5 years, I might as well keep avoiding it as long as my male god isn't around. The whole world is mine. Yu Xingxing's. There were quite a lot of people picking up passengers at the airport. When I saw my best friend's youthful and beautiful figure, I gave her a bear hug, almost hanging on her. Welcome back. See, she's the one who really loves me. My best friend turned around with a smile and said something to the person behind her. I looked over subconsciously, and then I was stunned. Why is Lu Che here too? The hands and feet that were hanging on my best friend suddenly stiffened, and I didn't know how to place them. Then my best friend's parents also smiled and said, you two take good care of Xingxing. We'll go home first. If social embarrassment could kill, I would have been wiped out. The elders left in a hurry. I quickly got off my best friend and stood aside obediently, not daring to say a word. Give me the car keys, I'll take you to dinner. I was so nervous that my palms were sweating. Suddenly, Lu Che reached out his hand. His outstretched fingers were long, clean, and his palm lines were clear. Well, it's a hand that's exactly to my liking. On a whim, I placed my hand in his outstretched palm. Best friend, when my brain realized what stupid thing I had done, I blushed deeply. I immediately tried to pull my hand back, but he held it. There was a warm smile in Lu Che's beautiful eyes and brows. I understand, let her drive. That's really not what I meant. Under my best friend's gaze, which seemed to scold me as a traitor, I felt like crying but had no tears. Can you just listen to my explanation? In the end, it was Lu Che who drove. My best friend and I whispered in the back seat, we promised to stick together and not forget each other. How could you lie to me? She said her second uncle wasn't here. It's all his fault. He forced me to say that. My best friend was straightforward and directly put all the blame on Lu Che. Finally, she winked at me and said, this is an opportunity for you. You've been chicken for 5 years. If you don't get him this time, I can't stand it anymore. But I'm not ready yet. I was timid and flustered, not daring to look up. I heard my best friend scoff. 5 years and you're still not ready? For some people, the kids would be in kindergarten by now. Well, this is really my true best friend. She always stabs me right in the heart, sees this opportunity well. My best friend lowered her voice, sounding quite frustrated with me. Try to become my second aunt, and then give me red envelopes during the new year. Got it. Ugh, I wonder if a second aunt can spank a naughty kid. I nodded randomly, but then, I accidentally saw in the rear view mirror that Lu Che was looking at me meaningfully. I don't know how long he had been eavesdropping or looking at me like this. My face was already burning. Mom, my face is too embarrassed to go home. From the airport to the city center, my heart was pounding the whole way. I was so nervous and flustered that I couldn't help trembling slightly. This is my male god. After all, what if he talks to me later and I do something stupid again? If I say something wrong, won't he dislike me? I want to go home to my mom. I don't want to have dinner with my male god. Get out of the car. Just as I was lost in my thoughts, the car suddenly stopped. I was startled and immediately reached for the car door. So God can hear my thoughts and is willing to let me go home. Yu Xingxing, stop. Lu Che's voice was calm and clear, like a cold mountain spring. You, get out. His gracefully curved chin gestured towards my best friend. I was stunned, and my best friend was shocked. Second uncle, are you serious? Serious, Lu Che replied simply. My best friend almost exploded on the spot. I held back my laughter, and my shoulders were twitching. Humph, believe it or not, I'll take her home and leave you out here in the cold. My best friend put her arm around my shoulder defiantly. Then, Lu Che just looked back meaningfully and said, don't make me say it again. I secretly nudged my best friend's waist to support her, but this guy actually chickened out. Xingxing, he's attracted to your beauty. You have to protect yourself. My best friend looked at me sympathetically. Before her second uncle could throw her out of the car, She ran away quickly. I leaned against the car window, looking pitifully at her back. Why didn't she take me with her as soon as my best friend left? The car was as quiet as a snowy night. I shrank my neck, not daring to speak. I was so nervous that my palms were sweating, and I wished I could hide myself. Get out of the car. Luce turned back and smiled at me. On a whim, I said, "Are you letting me go home?" Goodness, what am I saying? I wanted to bite my tongue off when I realized what I had said. Luce just shook his head with a laugh. Am I that scary? Ugh, he's not scary at all. In fact, everything about him is exactly my type. The key is that I'm facing my male god for the first time, and I'm nervous. No, thank you. No. No, you're not scary at all. I like you very much. No, I don't dislike you. Forget it. Pretend I didn't hear anything. I covered my face, feeling like dying. I finally realized a truth. Never be alone with the male god you like, or you won't even know what you're saying. I was like an ostrich, wishing I could bury myself. But then I heard Luce's happy laughter in the quiet car. I know you like me very much, so, may I have the honor to invite you to have dinner with me? I blushed and looked up, just meeting his smiling eyes. Have dinner together. Okay, of course it's okay. I nodded foolishly, and the corners of my mouth couldn't help but rise high. As long as he doesn't dislike my clumsy speech. The restaurant was chosen by Luce. The environment was quiet and elegant, and the dining atmosphere was great. What would you like to eat? Luce pushed the menu towards me, indicating that I could order, but I, adhering to the principle that the less I say, the fewer mistakes I make, shook my head with a smile. Anything is fine. I forgot to keep my mouth in check when I went out today. I'll try not to speak if I can, and having dinner with my male god must be a sweet experience. He shook his head with a smile and took the menu. When the dishes were served, I found that all the dishes Luce ordered were my favorites. Did this guy do his homework on purpose? I secretly glanced at the man sitting upright across from me. There was always a faint smile in his eyes and brows, and I couldn't figure out his intentions. We spoke at the same time. I quickly swallowed my words. You go first. He raised his juice glass towards me, with a warm smile. What you said last night, does it still count? Ugh, is he encouraging me to pursue him? I blushed and lowered my eyes, not daring to look at him. I was just talking big, but I think it's cute and straightforward. Suddenly, a big chicken leg appeared in my bowl. I heard Luce say with a smile, your favorite salt-baked flavor. Eat up. The aroma really wafted into my nose, but I didn't dare to gobble it up without caring about my image. I stole a glance at Luce. He exuded elegance in every move. While I was trembling because of excessive nervousness, I secretly despised myself while being craved for the delicious food. Wait, how does he know I like the salt-baked flavor? Don't you like it? Probably because I didn't pick up my chopsticks. Luce looked at me curiously. I quickly nodded vigorously. I like it. I have to maintain a ladylike image in front of him. I'm glad you like it. He smiled and started eating gracefully. I also started eating small bites. Then I suddenly thought of the days when I ate meat with my best friend. Woohoo, why didn't she take me with her? You Xing. Just as Luce and I were chatting casually, someone suddenly called me. I looked up and saw my colleagues from the company. There were several of them, seemingly here for a dinner gathering. They looked at me curiously and then stared intently at Luce. Wow. Is this handsome guy your boyfriend? No. I quickly shook my head to deny it, trying to clear up any misunderstandings. Luce surely wouldn't want me to claim a relationship with him, but unexpectedly, they all laughed merrily. Since he's not, introduce him to us then. Me. It was just a polite remark. Why take it seriously? Hey, handsome guy, can we add you on WeChat? Several women surrounded Luce with smiles, as if they were in a spider's web. I squeezed my palms resentfully. These vixens, I was just being modest, but they actually wanted to devour the Tang monk's meat right in front of me. I was about to retort and drive them away when I heard Luce say calmly, I have a girlfriend. The women's smiles disappeared instantly, and I was also stunned on the spot. He actually has a girlfriend. My colleagues left soon, and my heart felt completely cold. I lost my appetite for dinner. So, during the 5 years I secretly liked him, he had quietly found a girlfriend. I had missed the chance to confess my feelings. His girlfriend must be gentle, generous, and beautiful, right? I listlessly pushed the food around in my bowl. Even the big chicken leg didn't seem delicious anymore. I even declined Luce's invitation to watch a movie previously, not knowing he had a girlfriend. I could brazenly talk big with my best friend. Now that I know he's taken, I understand the importance of propriety and shame. How could I still have the nerve to pester him? Maybe he invited me out this time to tell me not to have any improper thoughts. On the way back, I didn't dare to say a word. When I got home, I immediately sent a video call to my best friend and resentfully scolded her. "You're really not a good friend. Your second uncle has a girlfriend, and you didn't tell me. You made me lose face." "Does he have a girlfriend?" my best friend asked in return. And then I heard her parents denying it. "We're still urging him to go on blind dates. See, he's definitely single." My best friend winked at me. "I must make sure you become my second aunt. Whether my New Year's money can be super doubled depends entirely on you." Me. "So, I'm just her human ATM." But if Luce doesn't have a girlfriend, was what he said at dinner just an excuse to get rid of me? I was lost in thought when Luce's call came in. "Xing Xing, I'd like to ask you for a favor. My parents are pressing me hard about getting married. Can you pretend to be my girlfriend?" I wanted to tell you this during dinner, but you seemed in a low mood. "Ugh, so, it's confirmed that he's single." "Of course, if it's inconvenient for you, I'll find someone else to help." I thought for a few seconds. Luce must have thought I disagreed. As soon as I heard he was going to find someone else, I got anxious. How could I let others do this? I had to be the one to do it. I quickly nodded with a big smile. "Sure, no problem. What do I need to prepare?" "No need, I'll come pick you up then." A clear and bright laugh came from the other end of the phone. Luce's laughing voice came through. "It's a deal then. I'll come pick you up after the new year." Okay. I'm definitely okay with being picked up as a girlfriend to pay New Year's greetings. Not long after, I received another call from Luce. "My parents really want to meet you, so they specifically asked me to invite you to our house." He smiled. "I'll be downstairs at your place in an hour. Do you have time?" Yes. I'll start getting ready and putting on makeup right away." An hour should be enough. I washed my hair at the fastest speed in my life, then quickly put on a light makeup. By the time I changed into a beautiful dress, Luce had just arrived downstairs. You look extremely beautiful today." He smiled like a spring breeze and handed me a large bouquet of gorgeous red roses. "You're more charming than the flowers." I blushed and took the roses. I will blush when he compliments me like this. "You know, I should buy some gifts for your parents." "Right, since it's my first time visiting, even if it's just a pretense, I'm too embarrassed to go empty-handed." Luce considerately opened the car door for me and glanced at the back seat. "I've already prepared everything." The back seat was filled with all kinds of gift boxes. It seemed I didn't need to worry about it. On the way, Luce and I chatted and exchanged information, so as not to reveal the truth when his parents asked questions. When we arrived at his house, I found my best friend was also there. "Xing Xing." My best friend excitedly rushed towards me, making me stagger back 2 steps and almost fall. It was Luce behind me who steadily supported me. "This is your second aunt." Luce said it without batting an eyelid, motioning for my best friend to greet me. My best friend winked at me and said sweetly, "Second aunt." Me. For a moment, I suddenly had the urge to act like an elder. "What's going on? Good girl." Anyway, everyone was in the living room. I pinched my best friend's soft waist and said with a smile, "From now on, it's Auntie's turn to dote on you. Mom, Dad, this is my girlfriend, Yu Xing Xing." There were quite a few elders sitting in the living room. Luce introduced them one by one. My best friend also took my arm and said with a smile, "She's my best friend. She has an excellent character. And she's good looking too. Look at her hips. She's definitely fertile." I just want to ask, is it illegal to strangle my best friend? Her words made my face turn as red as a monkey's, but I was so ashamed that I didn't dare to look up. The elders were amused. "Xing Xing, come and sit down." Luce's mother was of a certain age, but she was well maintained and looked very elegant. She warmly pulled me to sit beside her and chat. The aunts and uncles around asked me questions, and I answered them all fluently. Everyone nodded in great satisfaction. Some even praised, "Che has found a treasure. This time, your family is really lucky. Get married this year, and you'll surely have 2 babies next year. This is double happiness." Everyone was talking all at once, making Luce's mother beam with joy. I sat beside her, smiling obediently with my lips pursed. This kind of situation is beyond the control of a newbie like me. It's better to just listen. I said Xing Xing and my second uncle are a perfect match. My best friend came over with a smile, and Luce's mother also nodded in agreement. "The girl is so cute. You should have brought her back 2 years earlier." "Huh, what does that mean?" I looked at Luce suspiciously. He winked at me, indicating that I should just listen. I nodded, understanding that Luce's mother probably really wanted a daughter-in-law, but if Luce had brought a girlfriend home 2 years earlier, what would be my chance? However, it seemed that Luce's mother had something more to say. "You don't believe it, I'm telling you, Che has liked you for a long time. Now that you've come to meet the parents, why not set the wedding date?" Luce's mother looked at me hopefully. if you have any requirements for the betrothal gifts, just say it. Ugh, why am I getting more and more confused? Mom, it's the first time Xingxing has come to our house. You should prepare the meal. Lu Che timely changed the topic. Lu Che's mother glared at him, although she was reluctant to be interrupted. She still stood up and said with a smile. Xingxing, what Auntie said is sincere. Think about my proposal carefully. We can discuss everything. Okay, Auntie. I nodded obediently. No matter what, I'd agree first. Moreover, Lu Che's mother seemed kind and gentle, and although his father didn't talk much, he always had a smile on his face and took good care of me. If I really had such in-laws, it would be a happy thing to think about. In the evening, Lu Che's mother cooked a big table of dishes, all of which were my favorites. I felt so embarrassed. If they knew I was just pretending to be his girlfriend, would they hate me? After the meal, I made an excuse to leave, but Lu Che's mother persuaded me to stay overnight. Auntie, I don't want to trouble you too much. I was trying to find an excuse to decline, but my best friend suddenly interrupted. Just stay for one night. I agree. Me, Lu Che's mother beamed and pulled me upstairs. You two little girls can stay here tonight. Auntie likes the liveliness. I really didn't want to trouble her. My best friend, being a member of the Lu family, laughed heartily. Xingxing, have a great night tonight. I shook my head repeatedly. It's okay to eat, drink, and be carefree with her, but if I act like that in the Lu family, won't my gentle and virtuous persona be completely shattered? Lu Che's mother arranged for me to stay in the room next to Lu Che's. Before leaving, my best friend winked at me ambiguously. Girl, I support you in winning over my second uncle tonight. Me, looking at Lu Che standing behind her with a faint smile, my face turned completely red. Can this girl pay attention to the surroundings when she talks? Lu Che was quietly following behind her. Sure enough, as soon as my silly best friend turned around, she was startled. Say, second uncle, good idea, Lu Che said meaningfully, then stepped aside. My best friend ran away, and listening to Lu Che's ambiguous words, my mind started to get confused again. Did he mean what I thought he meant? Have a good rest, but Lu Che didn't say anything further. He just said this simple sentence and left. I rolled around on the bed, unable to figure out the male god's thoughts. Just then, the company group chat started beeping non-stop. The manager announced that the company had changed ownership and was about to start a new chapter with a new working mode. Under the message, a group of sycophants were flattering. I scrolled through it for a while and then prepared to rest, but my boss sent another message, asking me to quickly deal with the files in the email, which were to be shown to the new leader. Well, I'm really unlucky. Am I supposed to carry a computer with me when I go out to pay New Year's greetings? My boss was pressing me like it was a matter of life and death. I had no choice but to bite the bullet and ask Lu Che to borrow his computer. He generously gave me his laptop. To show my sincerity, I sat in the study to deal with the work, but as soon as the computer was turned on, a magnified photo of a beauty appeared on the screen. The beauty on the screen had bright eyes and white teeth, and her smile was charming. Her face was full of collagen, exuding a youthful atmosphere. I was stunned. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this me from 2 or 3 years ago? And I don't have this photo myself. I looked at Lu Che suspiciously. Unexpectedly, his ears turned red, and he coughed twice. Well, we need to make this pretense look real. I don't believe him in the photo. Only my profile can be seen. Obviously, he secretly took this photo at some unknown time. However, I still nodded with excitement. Oh, I understand. He's just shy and doesn't want to admit it. It's okay. As long as the male god is also in love with me, if he takes one step, I'll take the remaining 99 steps. He turned his head away, not looking at me, pretending to play with his phone. Looking at his ears, red as blood, I couldn't help but secretly smile. The male god actually secretly kept my photo and got caught by me. I took a deep breath to calm myself down. The emails were still in the inbox. I quickly dealt with the work while secretly glancing at the male god from time to time. Well, his side profile is also good looking. His eyelashes are like fans, and the curve of his chin is just right, as expected of the man I like. Even the way he scrolls through Douyin is so handsome that my eyes are filled with hearts. I'm here to bring some fruits. Lu Che's mother knocked on the door and came in with a smile. I habitually minimized the window to the desktop, then quickly took the fruit plate with both hands. Before I could say thank you, Lu Che's mother exclaimed in surprise. Huh, the desktop hasn't been changed yet. Lu Che, who was scrolling through Douyin, immediately looked up and wanted to touch the computer. I had an intuition that this might be related to some little secret, so I deliberately blocked him a bit and then smiled at Lu Che's mother. You know about this? Of course I know. He's been, Mom. Lu Che interrupted her in a hurry, but Lu Che's mother gave him a reproach look. Xingxing is your girlfriend, Why are you still shy? Luce blushed deeply. Luce's mother then said to me with a smile, Che really likes you. This photo has been on the desktop for about 3 years. The timeline is about what I expected. Luce's mother told me some interesting little things about Luce. I looked at Luce with a half smile, after making eye contact for 2 seconds. He blushed and looked away. Mom, Xing still has work to do. Don't keep talking to her. Yes, I won't disturb you too. Luce's mother left with a smile. As soon as the door closed, Luce immediately got up to leave, but I was quick-witted and grabbed him. This is a great opportunity. How could I let him go? I raised my smiling face right in front of his eyes and went straight to the point. Second uncle, don't you plan to give me an explanation? Hiding my private photo is not a good habit. You know, I found that Luce blushes easily. His clear and handsome face turned pink, and he avoided my gaze. The explanation is that I agreed on the day you said you wanted to win me over. He actually brought up that embarrassing thing again. He has no heart. Luce, I'm here. He lowered his head and got closer to me, looking at me with a half smile. Who said on New Year's Eve that they wanted to win me over? As long as she asks, I'll get drunk with just half a glass, and I'll fall over with just a push. I'm super easy to win over. Ugh, now it's my turn to blush like a tomato. I blushed and turned my head away, but he domineeringly held my chin, forcing me to look at him. His jet black pupils were filled with tenderness and affection, looking at me steadily. Xing, I'm really easy to win over. Do you want to give it a try? Are you kidding? How could I let this opportunity slip away? I blushed and nodded quickly. You're not allowed to go back on your word. I'm not that easy to pursue. I bit my lip, completely unable to control the speed of my heartbeat. I'll persevere. Watching him nod obediently and seriously, my heart melted. This is the male god I've been thinking about day and night. Did it work? The next morning, these were the first 2 words out of my best friend's mouth as soon as she saw me. I couldn't help but grin. Is it that obvious? Tisk, I'm not exaggerating. I could smell the sickly, sweet scent of love wafting from you even from 800 meters away. My best friend looked at me with disdain. And you're smiling like your head over heels in love. It's obvious something good has happened. You're just jealous, I retorted with a grunt, although I couldn't stop smiling. It wasn't as exaggerated as she said, was it? Your second uncle said he's in the probation period now. We need to get along for a while to see if we're suitable before he can be promoted. This was the consensus Luce and I reached last night. Just as I finished speaking, steady footsteps sounded from behind, and then Luce's voice rang out. Show some respect to your second aunt, or your New Year's money will be halved next year. My best friend pouted so much that an oil pot could hang from it. I smiled and teased her. Quick, call me second aunt. You two are ganging up on me. My best friend pretended to cry. She clung to my arm, sniffling. Girl, I regret it. Come back and live with me. I sympathetically stroked her head. Just as I was about to say that second aunt would take good care of her, Luce grabbed her by the collar and dragged her aside. If you dare to persuade Xing to go home again, I'll ask your parents to arrange a blind date for you. Fine, you're ruthless. My best friend immediately became obedient and started munching on a steamed bun. The corners of my mouth curled up high. I watched as Luce sat down next to me, served me porridge and gave me a steamed bun. The smile on my face never faded. My super, considerate male god, I'm in love. After the new year, Luce drove me to the company. My best friend wanted a ride, but Luce disdainfully threw her a car key. Go by yourself, Xing, second uncle. My best friend was furious. You two are so shallow, only caring about looks and forgetting your friends. You have no sense of fair play. The only response she got was a trail of exhaust fumes. Looking at my best friend, who was getting smaller and lonelier in the rear view mirror, I felt quite sorry for her. Is this a bit too much? Then I'll call her parents right away and arrange a guy for her. Ugh, forget I said anything. I wisely shut up. If my best friend knew I'd arranged a guy for her, she'd definitely get mad at me. Luce smiled in satisfaction. While waiting for the red light, he couldn't help but lean over. A third wheel is so annoying, isn't it? I blushed and coughed softly. This felt like a dream. The company wasn't far away. After parking, Luce reached out and held my hand, smiling at me meaningfully. We'll see each other again soon. What did he mean? He didn't explain. I watched his car merge into the traffic, then took out my makeup mirror to touch up my makeup. The person in the mirror had eyes full of love and swollen red lips. How could I show myself like this? I stood on the street, letting the cold wind blow for a while before entering the company. When we first met after the new year, most of my colleagues were enthusiastic. I greeted them with a smile. Not long after I sat down, the department manager came to urge us to have a Meeting, the new president of the company is here, everyone, go and welcome him. Well, I had to get up, I just didn't expect it to be Lu Che on the stage. He was wearing a smoky, colored high-end suit, and the tie was the one I chose for him. This guy had hidden it from me and came to be the company's boss. Lu Che on the stage was making a brief introduction. While I was completely stunned, my waist was painfully bumped by a colleague. The female colleagues who had seen us in the restaurant that day all excitedly winked at me. Isn't this your friend? He's actually our president, Xing Xing. You have to take care of us from now on. Did he break up with his girlfriend, Xing Xing? Introduce him to us. We like him, right. A diamond bachelor like him is too good to miss. The few women were chattering non-stop, making my head ache. If it weren't for the fact that Lu Che had just taken office and I didn't want to embarrass him, I would have given these women a piece of my mind right then and there, but they just wouldn't stop. After the meeting, Lu Che was surrounded by senior executives and left. I didn't have a chance to talk to him and those women stuck to me like leeches, chattering and shouting, wanting to get to know Lu Che through me. They also deliberately blurred the fact that Lu Che already had a girlfriend. I was so angry that I couldn't help but retort, "Who said I don't like him? Did I ever say that to you?" The group of women finally shut up a bit, but soon they launched a counter-attack. "Didn't you say that day that you had nothing to do with him? Yeah, you wouldn't be trying to get close to him and become the president's wife just because you found out he's the president, would you? You Xing Xing, you're so shameless." They looked at me with disdain, as if I was a mistress. I was so angry that I laughed instead. I simply revealed the truth. "Do you know who his girlfriend is? I'll tell you, it's me. If any of you don't believe me, go and ask him yourself." After I said those harsh words, the world finally became quiet, but soon the news that Lu Che and I were a couple spread throughout the company. Even the department manager came over with a big smile, enthusiastically saying that Lu Che and I looked like a married couple. It made me feel quite awkward. We were the ones in a relationship, but they seemed more eager than we were. In the morning, Lu Che called, "Xing Xing, since it's already spread, why don't we officially announce our relationship?" No need. Lu Che had just taken office, and there was no need for such gossip. I declined his proposal. Lu Che didn't force it. Instead, he invited me to have a meal. How about meeting at the cafeteria at noon? That was definitely doable. As soon as the lunch break bell rang, I was about to go to the cafeteria to save a seat. There were a lot of people in the company, and it was usually crowded, and with Lu Che's special status, he couldn't be expected to squeeze with everyone. But those women actually followed me. I was in a hurry to save a seat, so I didn't pay much attention, but they followed me, making sarcastic remarks. "You Xing Xing, with all the rumors in the company, and the president hasn't made any response, how can you still say you're his girlfriend? We've worked together for 2 years, and I didn't know you were as thick-skinned as a city wall." Haha, well said. The few women echoed each other, looking at me with disdain, only glancing at me from the corner of their eyes. I didn't bother to pay attention to them. Talking to them anymore would just lower my IQ, but they were really annoying, chattering all the way to the cafeteria. Then we saw Lu Che waiting at the cafeteria entrance. As soon as they saw Lu Che, they completely changed their faces. "Mr. Lu, you're also coming to the cafeteria for lunch. Can we sit here? Mr. Lu, you're so approachable. You're really a president that everyone likes." These colleagues were well known in the company for flattering the leaders. They could change their expressions extremely quickly. I was already used to it. "This seat is taken." Lu Che's face was gloomy. It seemed he had heard all their words. "Xing Xing, come here." He waved at me. "I've been waiting for you for a long time. These are all the dishes you like." I walked over. I had to say that Lu Che was really adorable. Over the years, he had really been getting to know me well, knowing exactly what I liked to eat. I saw that my colleagues' faces had completely darkened. "Mr. Lu, what's your relationship with Xing Xing?" a female colleague asked bravely. "Girlfriend and boyfriend." He quickly reached out and held my hand. "I bought this company to take care of her. How could I let her be bullied?" He came for me. A huge wave of emotion surged in my heart, and I tightly held his fingers. The faces of those women suddenly turned panicked. They shook their heads in horror. "Xing Xing, we were just joking with you just now." "Yeah, we were actually trying to congratulate you." "Congratulations on finding such a great boyfriend." Some of them forced a smile, trying to take back what they had said. But for people like them, who were rotten to the core, how could I let them stay and have designs on my boyfriend? "Thank you, but no need." I looked at their pale faces coldly. "You were two-faced right in front of me. What, do you think I'm stupid? Weren't you talking a lot just now? Keep talking." "What? Now that you see the president, you realize you've hit a brick wall and don't dare to say anything? It's too late, unfortunately. If I had no relationship with Lu Che, I might have been badly bullied by them today. Fortunately, I was really Lu Che's girlfriend, and he was willing to embrace me, dote on me, and stand up for me. I heard everything you said just now. The company doesn't need idle people, especially those who like to gossip. Go to the HR department to get your salary and leave. Lu Che frowned. I've already understood the situation of the company and each employee. You really aren't suitable to stay in the company any longer. Those women were fired on the spot. It wasn't just for me. These female colleagues had been slacking off in the company, using only sweet words to please the leaders while getting high salaries. They deserved to be fired. The story of the new president getting angry for his girlfriend quickly spread throughout the company along with the people in the cafeteria, but I pretended not to know and sat with Lu Che in the president's exclusive seat, enjoying our lunch. You don't need to save a seat from now on. We'll eat here. The table was filled with dishes I liked, much more delicate than the food provided in the cafeteria. Seeing me looking at them, he smiled and explained, I specially hired a cook to make lunch, promising to make you plump and healthy. Didn't he know that girls should be slender and graceful to look good? Plump and healthy was more for little babies, but his intentions were really sincere, so I reluctantly let him arrange it this time. No one dared to come and disturb us in the exclusive seat. Lu Che and I chatted and laughed in whispers from time to time, and the atmosphere was very harmonious. Suddenly, he said, Xing, when are you going to arrange for me to meet your parents? I've already prepared the gifts. Is it that soon? I was a bit surprised. He then touched my forehead with a pout. You've already taken advantage of me, and you still don't want to give me a proper title. Ugh, wasn't it him who said I could try and that he'd fall for me easily? I smiled awkwardly. I'll arrange it right away. Since the male god took the initiative to meet my parents, I had to be quick-witted. If he ran away, I'd have nowhere to cry. But before I could make a call, my mom sent me a video call. Tell me, when are you going to find a boyfriend? My mom's loud voice made me scramble to turn down the volume. This was really my own mom, not giving me any face at all. What are you panicking about? My mom was sharp-eyed and instantly noticed that something was off with me. She stared at me suspiciously, narrowing her eyes. Tell me, after the new year, are you still a single dog that no one wants? Me, I just wanted to ask, could she stop being so mean? No, I had a boyfriend now. Thinking of my beloved, I immediately gained confidence. Mom, I've got someone who wants me. I proudly raised my chin, making Lu Che beside me laugh, but my mom had a suspicious look like a detective. I remember you said the same thing last year. In the end, when you came back, the village dogs were the ones who were close to you. Me, Xing. If no one wants you, we'll just accept it. Mom will find you some blind date candidates. My own mom, really, stabbing me with her words. I tugged at my hair in distress, wondering how to tell my mom about Lu Che. Unexpectedly, Lu Che suddenly leaned over, looking at the camera with a beaming smile. Auntie, do you think I'm suitable to be Xing's blind date candidate? Both my mom and I were stunned, but in less than 2 seconds, my mom beamed and nodded. Yes, of course, I think it's very suitable. Humph, I also thought Lu Che and I were a perfect match. Since that's the case, Xing, you should bring your boyfriend back for us to meet right away, and then start preparing for the wedding. My mom was so hasty that she left me in a daze. Is it really that urgent? Don't you see how old you are? My mom's disdainful look was never absent. I looked at Lu Che in confusion. Am I really that old? Lu Che smiled and rubbed my hair. In the heart of every mom who's urging her child to get married, the child is always an old-timer who can't get married. I couldn't agree more. Bringing Lu Che home was okay, but getting married wasn't urgent. However, man proposes, God disposes. Who knew that Lu Che would bring the household register to my home, and he really couldn't hold his liquor. He passed out after just 3 cups of alcohol. Yet he insisted on going to get a marriage certificate with me. My parents handed me the household register at lightning speed, and then sent me out of the house with a look as if I had gotten an incredibly good deal. I was so frustrated. I thought the Civil Affairs Bureau wouldn't allow a drunk person to get married, but to my surprise, as soon as we entered the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Lu Che sobered up. Me, the longest path I've ever walked in my life is the tricks of Mr. Lu. Since we were already there, it seemed unreasonable not to get a marriage certificate, so, I, who had planned to get married at least 3 years later, got married just 3 months later. Lu Che held the red marriage certificate and smiled like a fool. I, on the other hand, was full of frustration. You tricked me into marriage. He clearly could hold his liquor well, but he pretended to pass out after 3 cups. If a man doesn't get drunk, how can a woman have a chance? Lu Che embraced me with a beaming smile. You've long wanted to win me over. And I also said that as long as it's you, I'd get drunk with just half a cup. I've finally become a full-fledged husband. I thought he was just joking. Who would have thought he was serious? Wife, give me a kiss, don't pout. Let you decide what to do with me tonight, okay? His kisses landed on my lips like a drizzle. As sweet as the honey in spring flowers. I wasn't really angry with him in the first place, with his coaxing. I playfully scolded him, then you're punished to sleep on the sofa tonight. He made a sad face. Tomorrow? Can I sleep on the sofa tomorrow? Why? Because today we got the marriage certificate. It's our wedding night. A moment of spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. He said it in a naughty way, and I blushed with shyness. I finally married him. The male god I had been cowardly towards and thought about for 5 years finally became mine. Let's throw flowers and celebrate. Of course, there was a question I had always wanted to ask him. Luce, when exactly did you start liking me? Judging from the photo on his computer, I knew he had liked me for a long time. Well, this is a long story. It probably started when you were my junior at school, but I never expected that. By such a coincidence, you're my niece's best friend. Luce said he fell in love with me at first sight in college. At that time, he could carry a camera and wander around the school for a long time. He often saw me going to the cafeteria. He took a lot of beautiful photos of me and saved them in his camera, but he was hesitant to have too much contact with me, afraid it would be too abrupt and that I might not like him. It wasn't until New Year's Eve, when I was having a video call with my best friend, that's when he thought the opportunity had come. After we got the marriage certificate, both sets of parents were in a hurry. They were bustling with the wedding arrangements, while Luce and I sweetly enjoyed our time as a couple. And now I finally realized how outstanding my husband, my former senior, was. There was nothing he couldn't solve that I couldn't, from trivial household problems to various interpersonal relationships and thorny issues at work. As long as he dealt with them, everything would be sorted out clearly from then on. My admiration and adoration were all for him. Luce was obviously also lost in my flattery. As long as I sweetly called him husband, he could solve anything. I smiled meaningfully, taking pride in my actions without showing it. I could also handle family affairs in an orderly manner. His most frequent sigh was that teaching the apprentice would starve the master, and now I didn't need him anymore. How could that be? I kissed his soft lips with a beaming smile. No matter how capable I am, I can't do without my husband's support. Really? His eyes lit up, and I nodded with a smile. Of course, husband and wife are one. With your support, I can fly higher. Without him, I would still be mediocre. Maybe I would have mustered up the courage to confess to him, or maybe I would have remained a coward and ended up with nothing but regret in my heart until I died. But the step he took gave me immense courage and strength. It also led to this beautiful marriage. I believe that as long as we both have the will, the future will be better and better, and he and I will be happy until we grow old.